Welcome to Electrified. My name is Dylan Loomis, and with some recent news, we are reminded of yet another massive lead that Tesla holds on the competition. And in my opinion, this is grossly overlooked by people in the Tesla community and definitely everybody outside of it. Real quick, if you do not have the privilege of owning a Tesla, here is a software update. So as you've probably heard by now, Tesla has been updating their cars via OTA over-the-air upgrades for roughly 8 years now. And just today, Oppenheimer came out saying that they had expected the legacy OEMs to reach Tesla's level of functionality with the OTA updates by now, but they are unfortunately for them still a couple years behind. And before I get eviscerated in the comments by those Tesla owners that have struggled with their updates and had poor experiences, I know that not all of these updates are smooth, they don't all go well, some are buggy. But may I politely remind you that your car is being updated, and we're not talking about a color change to the screen or a user interface change. We're talking things like your brakes are being improved, and the performance of the car, specifically the acceleration, is getting better. So I think it's important we contextualize and let that sink in. But I will say, yes, I do indeed empathize with you. I'm a huge tech fan, and when it's buggy, it is annoying because we expect it to work. So I hear you. But with that out of the way, let's get into this. First, let's talk about Volkswagen, as they were thought of by many to be one of the OEMs that had a real chance of catching or at least competing with Tesla on some level, given their massive size and their massive investment into electrification. However, they've been off to a very rough start with the release of their ID.3. This has been an ongoing issue for months, and it's all been due to their software issues. Now, I will say some of their limited edition models are expected to ship next month in September, but they will not have the App Connect infotainment system until a later released OTA update. And I'd like to take a moment to publicly state quickly that despite my desire to see electrification take off, I cannot, in good faith, yet root for Volkswagen. Most of you have probably heard about the Dieselgate scandal with Volkswagen. I did end up watching the Netflix documentary a while ago, and it was very impactful. Had I not seen that, I probably wouldn't have cared as much, but what they did was honestly despicable and shocking, and it will take a lot of work for them to earn my respect at all and any support from me. So with that out of the way, let's continue. It's not just Volkswagen that's had issues with software and OTA updates. Chrysler has struggled. Ford has actually been doing a version of software updates for some time. This is not a new topic for them. However, their Ford Mach-E is expected to be released later this year, and they won't do any software updates until about 6 months after release. So the jury is still out to see how Ford handles this. And I actually really like the Mach-E. I think it's super stylish and sharp looking. I would love to test drive one. Now, anyone that thinks I would even consider buying a Mach-E over a Tesla, you're tripping. I would not do that. However, I like the Mach-E. I hope it is well received in the US, because honestly, if it's not, I have no idea what car electric will be well received in the US outside of Tesla. I'm not going to cover the rest of the manufacturers and what they're doing with OTA updates, or better yet, what they're not doing, because ultimately it's at this point irrelevant. It will not even come close to what Tesla is doing, as Oppenheimer has just confirmed. It will probably be the case for the next 3 to 5 years at least. But as we know, Tesla will continue to improve and continue to iterate, so there's a chance they hold their lead at least somewhat for a very long time. And this is honestly something that as a Tesla fan or enthusiast, we should do our part to evangelize this topic, because when you think about it, Most people outside of the Tesla community, when they think about software update, they think of their phone, and it's mostly minimal. It's inconsequential. The updates are nice at times, and there are some cool new features, but nothing substantial, nothing that gets most people super excited. But this is not the case with Tesla's OTA updates, as anybody that's owned a car can probably attest to. I can tell you that the first time I told my parents that Teslas get better with time given these software updates, when I told them they get faster and they get better at driving themselves, I remember they looked at me like I was high. And granted, I suppose I may have been, but it's just people have no idea what's going on in the Tesla space if they're not in the Tesla space. And yes, of course, some of the Tesla updates are ho-hum and mundane, but let's talk about some that aren't. The voice commands update was cool, yes, buggy, but it will continue to get better. Tesla Theater, Smart Summon, Camp Mode is useful, Twitch being added to Tesla Theater so you can stream videos if you have premium connectivity, supercharging speed improvements, full self-driving improvements, stoplight and traffic sign recognition. One of my personal favorites, although I sadly don't yet own a Tesla, would be the acceleration upgrade for $2,000. The car becomes 0.5 seconds faster, specifically the Model 3 in the 0 to 60 time. Camera functionality improvements, door locking changes, GPS upgrades. Honestly, guys, the list goes on and on and on. If you'd like to see said list, by the way, you can check the description. There is a spreadsheet with all of the OTA updates, or at least most of them. No, I did not compile this, but shout out Rocco, good work. And so yes, obviously these new features are awesome and exciting, and most of them are actually quite useful. However, I think what's really overlooked is the emotional connection that this maintains with the vehicle and the user. When people buy an ICE car, they buy it, and after that, they only expect it to get worse. They expect things to start falling apart and the car to overall deteriorate. That is not the case with Tesla, at least when it comes to the software updates. Every week or every few weeks, getting excited about seeing a new update and watching your car get better in real time, that creates an ongoing relationship of expectations and excitement and joy, if you will, that is not experienced outside of Tesla. And this is honestly at least part of why Tesla owners are so satisfied with their vehicles, as any report will tell you, even if they don't consciously know that this is part of why they like their Tesla so much. And yes, there are a myriad of other reasons, but this at least plays some role. Do you guys remember when Elon said buying anything other than a Tesla would be financially insane? If you don't, here you go real quick.
I mean, the really fundamental message that consumers should be taking today is that it's financially insane to buy anything other than a Tesla. It'll be like owning a horse in 3 years. I mean, fine if you want to own a horse, but you should go into it with that expectation. If you buy a car that does not have the hardware necessary for full self-driving, it is like buying a horse. And the only car that has the hardware necessary for full self-driving is a Tesla. Like, people should really think about their purchase. Any other vehicle. It's basically crazy to buy any other car than a Tesla. Yeah. We need to convey that argument clearly, and we will after today.
So yes, his statement was with full self-driving in mind, but guess what? Full self-driving is part of the OTA updates in the Tesla software upgrades. So I just wanted to make a short, quick video to remind you of yet another massive lead that Tesla has, to bring it to top of mind, so in any communication with anybody else about Tesla, you have something else that you can chat about, and another reason to give people to at least consider a Tesla for their next vehicle purchase. If you have a Tesla and you have an experience with these OTA updates, feel free to share it below. I thank you guys for watching this video. If it was enjoyable in any way, please give it a like. It does really help the channel. You can, of course, support Ashley and I on Patreon for as little as $3 a month. We do plan to start, finally, doing regular news updates for the companies we've initiated coverage on here on the channel. So stay tuned for that. All of our patrons, thank you. We really do appreciate you guys. With all of that, I hope you have a great day. I'll see you guys soon.